Hello everyone, this is KenBroTech from KenBroTech and welcome back. So in our last video, we looked at the basic CRUD functionality, how you can add data, we can read data, we can update data, and we can delete data from a database. So we are also going to extend or apply that logic or that kind of thing we've learned into other things over here. So now you have the staff page over here, and these are items we are grabbing or we should be grabbing from the database. As it stands, this is not picking in data from the database. So we'll come back and have a view of what our database looks like. So as far as staff are concerned, we have two staff over here. We have admin 1 and we have Mary, and these are the things we want to grab. So we are going to come back into, okay, so we are going to change some few things over here. So we are going to change this to let me see, we have name, email, and let's say we can have, for profile, we can have phone number over there. Okay, so we are going to have name, email, and phone number. So let me go into my staff.html page. I think staff.html, and so yeah, so this is going to be name, this is going to be email, and I'll have phone over here. Good. So now let's go into our views and start writing in logic over here. So let me close these ones down. So as far as the logic goes for the staff view, and where do I have staff? Okay, staff is over here. So as far as staff is concerned, I want to grab it from the user model. Okay, remember we are dealing with the user model, and we'll also be working with the profile model. So as far as staff is concerned, what I can do is I can come in here and come and say from Django.contrib.auth.models. I want to import, and I want to import the user model over here. All right, so I'll save this and I'll come down here into staff.html and I'm going to create in a variable over here, and I'm going to call these workers. Okay, so the workers are going to be, or I'm going to get them from the user. I'm going to say user.objects.all. All right, so let's try this and see, and let's pass in a context dictionary over here, and we have workers over here, and the value is also going to be workers, and I'm going to pass in the context dictionary right over here. So after saving this, let's go to staff.html, and once again let's try and write in some logic over here. So I'm going to say for worker in workers, and I'll end the for loop over here. So I'm going to delete the rest of the dummy data over here. So I'll say end for. So I'll come in here and get rid of this. Okay, so I think I also need to get rid of what I have over here. Okay, so if I should save this and come back here. All right, so the first thing we are going to do over here is, after cleaning things up over here, so we are going to have, or we are going to want to have access to the username, the email, and the phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this is data. We're going to use a double curly brackets, and I'm going to say worker and worker.username. All right, so this worker is what we are having access to, and the username is the name of the field in our database. Okay, so we have so for instance we have Mary over here, and the username is Mary. So that's what we have, what we want to see over here. So when I refresh, we are now seeing admin 1 and Mary over here, and those are the only two users we have with our system. So now let's change what we have for email and phone. So for the email too, we can do worker.email. So when I do worker.email, save this and come back here, we are going to see that we have this email over here. Now you cannot just do worker.phone because the phone is not accessed through the user model. Okay, the phone is going to be in the profile model. The phone is going to be in the profile model. So what we can do for phone, and I think we did that with the profile, we can do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say worker.profile.phone, and I think this should work. So when I save this and come back here and refresh, yes, we are having their phone numbers over here. Now we want an instance when we click on this. Okay, when we click on this, we are going to see the profile image of that particular user. So in order to do that, I'll come to VS Code and let me close things up over here so that, all right, so I'll come to views.py, and this is my dashboard app view, and just under here I'm going to create another view, and I'm going to call this staff_detail. So this is going to be a staff detail view, and of course you are going to pass in request over here. Then let's return a template over here. So you have to return render. The first parameter we pass in here is the request. Then the name of the template comes in here. So you are going to have dashboard/staff_detail.html. all right, so this is what we are going to have. But then, as you could see over here, if we click on this, we want to grab a particular item over here and not just anything. We want to grab a particular item. So as far as this function is concerned, we also need to pass in the primary key over here, or an extra parameter. And this the same thing with it, with the delete and edit of the products. So we want to grab a particular stuff and go and look at the detail of that page. So once we have this view created, or this function created, we need to go into our urls.py and also go and create a corresponding URL for it. So this is going to be like the staff page or the staff URL. So I'll copy this and I'll paste this down over here. So I'm going to say /detail and /, and I also need to pass in the extra parameter over here, which is the primary key. So I'll do int and pk inside the angle bracket over here, and the function I want to have access to is staff detail, and I would also want to change the name of the URL to dashboard-staff-detail. So when I save this, we now have this working over here. So now let's copy this URL, Ctrl+C, and come into our staff.html and put it over here, so that when you click on this, we are taken to that particular page. So that will be in our templates. We have staff.html, and this is just about it. So we put in the template tag over here. This is going to be a URL. So we type in URL and we paste this over here, and we can also have access to worker.id. So we are going to do worker.id over here. All right, so this is going to work, but as it stands, we don't have the template yet, because if I'm to refresh and, for instance, click on this, it says template doesn't exist, and clearly we don't have the template. So now let's go and create a template. So the template is almost going to be like the staff page. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V over here. Then I'm going to change or rename this to staff_detail.html. And if I save this what I don't want to have over there is the table. So I'm just going to get rid of the table so that we kind of see the differences over here. So I'll get rid of the table over here. So I'll save this, and if I'm to refresh, now I have this page rendering over here. So you have staff/details/6 for the primary key, and we can also do this, and we are able to route the page. So now I want to have that portion of the website where we actually see the profile information over here. Now if you come back to the admin page, it's almost going to be like this. It is actually going to be like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into profile.html and go and grab this and come and put it somewhere here for the detail. So what I'm going to do is inside profile.html, I'll just, the whole of this, I'll just collapse this and do a Ctrl+C over here and come to my staff detail and clear everything over here and paste this right about here. So when I save this and come back over here and I come and refresh, now yes, I have this for admin, and I also have this for Mary, but Mary is not working quite well. We are going to work our way around it, but clearly we don't have to, or we don't want to have this edit button over here, because you don't want an instance where the administrator can come and edit the profile information of staff. It is not proper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this edit link over here, and I'll just clear this over here. So when I refresh, okay, so the edit link is gone. Now we need to come in here and come in, inside our views, and come and write in some logic so that you can have access to exactly what you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also create a variable over here called worker, and worker is pretty much going to be like the staff workers that we had over here. Okay, so let me also make this workers for consistency's sake. So we are going to write in a query over here. So we are going to say we want to grab the user.object, and this time around we want to get, okay, or we want to grab a particular item over there, and we are going to say the ID is equal to the primary key we are passing over here. So the ID is equal to PK. Now we can pass this in a context dictionary over here. So context is equal to, and since this is a dictionary, we need to pass in a key value pair. So the key is worker and the value is workers. Okay, so it is workers. So I'll save this, and all I need to do is to pass in the context dictionary over here. So now we are good to go. So now we can now have access to workers over here. So if we refresh, yes, and if we come to Mary, Mary is still going to have this because we haven't put in down the logic we need to put in there yet. So as far as this is concerned, remember we are grabbing user, but we don't want user in this case. We want to have worker. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say workers dot username, and I'll do workers dot email over here, and I also do workers dot profile dot phone, and for the address too, I'll do workers dot profile dot address. Then finally for the profile image too, I'll do workers dot profile dot image dot URL. Alright, so when I save this and come back and come and refresh, you can see that now you are seeing Mary over here. If I go back and click on admin, we see the profile information of admin as we have over here. So clearly we worked on the products, done everything we need to do over here. We've also worked on the staff, and we are going to look at how we view the various orders that have been made by the various users we have in our system. But I think I realized something over here. Remember when we were working, we dealt with the login required where we added the creators, and I think the new views we just created, we need to add the creators over there. So now let's put up the creators over here for all our views. I mean, you don't want a user have access to the product delete page without necessarily logging in. It is going to be a bad design for our web application. So I have this for all my views over here. Okay, so I think that is good. Now the last thing I would want to do is when I log out and log in, and this time around I'm going to log in as Mary, and I'll type in Mary's password over here. Now I'm still seeing admin profile over here. Now this is just the aesthetics, okay? And when I click on this, yes, it's still giving me Mary, but then what I want to see over here is Mary, not just admin. So as you can see, this is in the nav.html. So what I can do is I can come into my templates, into my partials, and that's where I have nav.html. So I'll go in here, and instead of just rendering admin profile, this is just some static data. I want to dynamically render whoever is logged in. The username should appear here. So I can put in user.username. Alright, so when I do user.username profile, then instead of just having admin profile, if I come back to come and refresh, we are not going to see Mary profile because Mary is a logged in user. If I should log out and now logged in as admin1 and type in my password over here, we are not going to see admin1 profile. Alright, so this is great. We are done with the staff and the staff detail page where we can view the details of the staff. Now let me log out and also register some few workers in our system. So let's say we have, let me register back Ken and put in a password over here. So if I click on register, now I have Ken registered and we are asked to log in. So you can log in as Ken, and I'll type in my password. And here we go. We are directed here. We can go and see our profile and we can do the editing we did. Alright, so let me also log out and register another user. I want to have about 3 different users, and I'm going to say Brony, and for the email I'm going to say broniekenneth@yahoo.com. Let me just use brony@yahoo.com, and I'm going to type in a password over here, and I'll repeat myself here, and I'll register this, and I'd also want to register another one. So let me register Bob. So I have Bob over here, and let me say bob@gmail.com. Have this password here. Alright, and I don't want to register here. So now let me just log in as an admin. So I'll log in as admin1 and I'll type in my password. And just right about here, I can see that all the stuff I registered, I have their detail over here. I mean, it is being rendered out for me. I can go into the detail and go and see the detail. This is for the admin. I can see the detail for Mary. I can see the detail for Ken. Ken is using the default avatar image, and same as Brony, and same as Bob over here too. Alright, so this is beginning to take shape. Now the next thing we are going to look at is writing in logic for our orders. So for the orders, we are going to go back into our views, and it's going to be pretty much the same thing we've been working with. But first of all, let's go into this and see what we have for orders. So as far as orders are concerned, we don't have any order in here. Okay, so now let's try and create some orders. And remember, the orders are going to be made by the staff. So if I should click on this and say the products HP laptop, and the staff who wants to make this order is let me start with Mary. Mary wants to have a quantity of 2. Okay, so Mary has this order. Let me create another order, and the products, I want to say coffee cappuccino, and Bob wants to make this order. Bob wants to make 8 orders of coffee cappuccino. Let me create another one. I have Samsung TV by Bob again, 10. And I also want to create some for, let's say, oranges. Ken wants to make order for oranges, 20. Another one for sack of rice. This by Roni, and let's say 10. All right, so these are the orders that we have in our system, and we want to have them rendered over here. So as far as our view goes, I think the order is the last view I have over here. I can now start writing in logic over here, but even before we do so, we need to come here and come and check. So in our models, we have products imported. We also need to import order. So now we have order in here, and I'll come down here and come and write in some logic. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to call this orders, okay? And I'm mindful of the names over here. So as you can see, this is order, and I'm now using orders over here. So we are going to use the ORM. So we are going to say order.objects.all. So if we should do this, now let's have a context dictionary over here. And as far as this dictionary goes, let's pass in orders, and the value per over here is orders. Then finally, let's put out the context over here. So if I should save this, we are not going to see its display here yet. We need to go into that order.html and go and render that in there. So this is order.html, and instead of just passing in the static data, so let me just clear this over here. And if I should save this, all right, so I'm good to go. So once again, let's put out a for loop over here, so I can loop through the items in our database. So I'll say for orders in orders, then I'll need to come and end my for over here, or end my loop over here. So end for. So I'm going to get rid of this. I don't want the numbers, and let me just clear this over here, and also clear the numbers over here. All right, so the first thing we would want is the name of the product. Okay, so the name of the product. So I'm going to say, I'm going to do order or orders dots, and this time around I want to be very sure of what I'm typing. So let's go to dashboard and the model over here. So for orders, we have the products, we have the staff, order quantity, and dates. Okay, so let's try and use the appropriate. So we can say order.products as we saw in the model over there. So if I should save and come and refresh, we can see that we have all the products in here. So we have HP laptop, coffee cappuccino, Samsung TV, and things of that sort. So now let's put out the category over here. So we can do order.category, and I'm going to say order or orders.category. Then this is going to be quantity. So this field is going to be quantity. I'm going to say orders dot quantity. So quantity is, I think, small letter Q. So now let's see what we have so far. Okay, so I think we are missing some few things over here. So now let's go back into the models and see exactly how we label them. So I think this is order quantity. Okay, so the naming is very important. So I'll do Ctrl+C over here, and instead of just saying orders.quantity, it's supposed to be orders.order quantity. And as far as the category goes, so if you come and refresh, you are going to see the quantity being listed over here. Now, as far as the category goes, let's go back into the models and see how we structure things. So the category is actually in products, okay, and order is linking with products over here. So you can do order.products.category. All right, so we need to do order.products because the order is a child of the product. So you can do orders.products.category. So now when I come back to come and refresh over here, we have the category listed over here. Now we have order by. So now we want to access the user. So for the order by, we can also do, we are going to do orders dot, and once again, let's go into the model and see how we structure things. So as you can see, we have order, so we can do orders.staff, okay, and inside staff we want to have, because inside staff we have users over here and we want to get the username. So we are going to do orders.staff.username, and this is how the structure should work. All right, so when I come back to come and refresh, now we have the usernames over here as far as those who ordered these items are concerned. Now I think in our view or in our project, I'd also want to add the date and time. So for the date and time, I'll just come in here, come and copy this and paste this over here. And what I'm going to say is dates. So date is also going to lead me to duplicating this and pasting it over here. So for the date, and for the date, once again, let's look at it over here. So we can have orders.date. Okay, that's very simple and straightforward. So I'm going to say orders.date over here. Okay, so if I save this and come back to come and refresh, now I have this date listed out over here. There are some few ways, or there are some things we can do to format or edit the dates. Okay, we are not going to look so much into that, but then these are things we can do later on. All right, so clearly we can see that our query set is building up as far as the understanding is concerned. Most of the time, you just have to do this side by side with the model so that you know exactly how you are navigating through the objects in there, because some of the objects have relationship with other objects, so you need to know exactly what you are looking at. Especially when we came to products, we wanted to get the name of the product. Okay, so we needed to go through order.products because we are getting products in here because there's a foreign key over here. Then we go and grab the name over here. So it is a child that is linking up to the products which we are getting it over there. Then we also have same with the staff over here. So we want to know the staff who made that order. We have to do order.staff because it is through staff that we are getting the user. Then inside this user, you can have access to the attributes username or any other thing we specified for the user. So in this video, we've actually extended our knowledge on database queries and how we can view things from the backend. Now, I find this tutorial very interesting. There are a couple of ways you can help me grow my channel. Kindly subscribe to KenBroTech and don't forget to hit on the notification button so that anytime I release a video, you'll be duly notified. Also, share this video with friends and family who find this content very useful. At KenBroTech, we say learn programming, you can do it. And also don't forget to ask any question or pass in any comments if you have one. Thank you very much, and bye bye.